outside and out, trying to get you home. Hey creators, welcome back to Create a Best Life for a brand new video. For those of you that are new here, welcome. I'm Kimani, and today I'm really excited because this is day 2, episode 2 of our writing challenge, which is writing our script in 90 days. How can we get our idea from our heads to the page in final draft, whatever you want to use, and then you have a finished, polished script ready to pitch and or sell. So a quick recap of last episode, I was mentioning to you guys that I am writing a romance feature film. It is a period piece, a little bit of a coming of age. My main characters, Mercy and Josiah, are falling in love, and they are figuring out life in the pre-civil rights era. And so it is definitely an interesting time period to write for. I've never done this before, but it has been a joy and so much fun to create these characters and start bringing them to life. So with that said, last time we were doing our character development and we also did our synopsis. So today what we're going to do is make updates to our characters in terms of who is a part of their life. Like, what is their network? What is their community like? And then develop more into our synopsis and our plot so that we can create our world. We're going to do a lot of world building today. So what does that world look like? Like, who are these players? Who's involved? What does it look like? How does it feel? And then really dive into our themes today. So if you like videos like this about storytelling and filmmaking in general, and then all things art, I would encourage you to stay a while. See if you could join the fam. I would love to have you here. And if you want to get your script from your head to the page to a finished, polished project, just keep watching. Okay, guys, you already know my tried and true, my remarkable tablet is right here. We're going to get started. We're going to go through our notes of the synopsis, who our characters are. So basically, I have our characters, they get married, they settle into their life, and then more about my breakdowns. I also told you guys that, like, I like to figure out, like, what their zodiac signs are. Just because it helps with figuring out who your characters are and what their likes and dislikes are. And then you also need to focus on what they want versus what they need. So I also need to delve into that a little bit more, because I have wants and needs here, but just a little bit more. And I have some fun quotes in here that I keep keep running across my mind. And so I just want to fine tune these characters and what their life is like. So I'll start with Mercy, who is my main character. Our protagonist, a young woman. She's a teenager. I refuse to call her a young woman. She is a teenager. She is 17 and she really wants to go to college. In that time, majority of boys went to college. It was not many women, it was not many girls, specifically not many black girls, especially in that time. This was like the mid-40s, so that wasn't going to happen for her, unfortunately, but she's resilient. Okay, so far I have mom, dad, siblings, and I'm just going to give her 5 siblings because a lot of people just had a bunch of kids back then. So I need to develop who the siblings are. And then I also need to go to my next character, which is Josiah. And I've got his wants and needs, and I need to come up with his community as well. So mom, dad, siblings. And then I also need to add on friends, because that's important. I feel like friendships are super important. And I haven't decided how many siblings Josiah has, but I'm going to start with their parents and then work my way from that. I think I'm done. I have solidified a little bit more of my synopsis, and this is some great foundation for what the outline is going to look like. And also for today, we did more of our world building and our character breakdown. So I was just describing what the world looks like at the time. So I know I mentioned that I kind of wanted to start this story in like the 1920s. I think it makes more sense for me based on my research and like my thought process for the project. I want it to be based in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and a little bit of the 60s. So like the late 30s, of course, and mostly like late 30s. So roughly 20 years, 25 years of this story. And so what I came up with today was I delved a little bit more into the wants and the needs of my main characters, Mercy and Josiah. I fleshed out more of who they are, and I have a few quotes from them that I am excited to use later on. And I think I mentioned that earlier, but I do have a lot more quotes. And one that I think is great, and I don't really know if I'm going to use it, but I really like this one, just like a little quirk about her personality. Like, because I feel like a lot of older people keep obituaries, and specifically Black people. I was thinking about, like, in writing this, I was thinking about like my grandparents and their grandparents. Like my grandparents were slaves in the United States. They were enslaved, which is infuriating and interesting in terms of the history, because of the fact that like so many Black people do not have like our grandparents did not have accurate birth certificates and accurate information about their lives online. And it's because it was made by design. But even so, like, I was thinking that the reason why this came up was because I was like, older people always keep obituaries to keep up with like who passed away. And like, I think that that is a telling of our history of, who was here. And so one of my quotes is, someone asked Mercy, like, why do you keep obituaries? And her response was, because who else is going to document our lives? And I wasn't thinking of it only for the small scale of just her and her network and her community, but also in the network of these are Black people in the early to mid 1900s whose grandparents were enslaved here. And the telling of our history is so important because so much is oral and just word of mouth, but having physical documents of it is so important because so much of our history has been stolen. And so I thought that that was important, and I really loved that. And yeah, I just think that it's been fun to create this period piece and develop these characters and talk about the things I want to talk about in terms of my history and the history of Black people. And it's been very therapeutic and such a great learning process of learning more about our history, asking more questions, generating more curiosity for me, and hopefully generates more curiosity for the viewers of this project. Outside of that, I definitely fleshed out Mercy's community. I don't have any friends down for her just yet. Like in the synopsis, I have a friend for her, but I don't necessarily have friends written down in her community, just like fleshed out the character. And I feel like that's going to come up as the plot develops for me. But I have her parents, I have her siblings. She's got 5 siblings. Parents are really interesting people. Like I am trying to figure out, like, based on the like mom, maybe she had like postpartum depression that never went away, and that's why like she is quiet and like kind of goes along to get along and goes along with whatever the dad says, and who happens to be an alcoholic. And I think that the psychology of that is very interesting, and seeing how people's dynamics are because of what their mental health is like. And then for Josiah, I fleshed out some of his siblings. He has a lot of siblings, and I don't think that I will they'll be there, but I don't think that they'll be major players in this, just because it's so many people. It's so many people. I just feel like a lot of folks in that age group, like if you talk to your grandparents, you're like, oh, I had 15 brothers and sisters, or I had 7, 8, 9, 10 brothers and sisters, and people aren't having that many kids like that anymore. I think that's a good thing, probably for the best. But also, like, they came from really big families because there was no birth control the way that there's birth control now. Like, it wasn't the same type of birth control, and it wasn't a surefire way to not get pregnant. Those people were fertile. So I have these people being equally as fertile, and it's been fun to kind of imagine what their parents are like and why this character in terms of Mercy and Josiah are the way that they are. So I know that this has been a very short video, but I want to next time talk about the outlining process. So I'm going to delve even deeper into the synopsis, because I want to make sure that I get some beats in there just so that I know what my A storyline is, my B storyline, and my C storyline. And actually, I feel like I should talk about that right now. So the A storyline is the coming of age part, I think. I think that's what it's going to be. Mercy's coming of age. And then the B storyline is the romance. And the C storyline, I haven't decided what that is just yet. And we're gonna come up with that next time. I'll be thinking about that, and I'll bring that to you guys next time. So yeah, this was so much fun, and it's kind of hard to write this right now because I have the other feature stuck in my brain. Like, I can't stop thinking about this animated feature that I want to write. So it's kind of hard to think about this, like work on this while thinking about that. But this has been so much fun, and it's kind of hard to stay, like, do everything linearly. And I'm doing that for you guys' sake, but also like just so that I'm sticking with it and like covering all of my bases. However, it's hard to do everything linearly because I really want to just jump into the writing aspect, because I find the dialogue portion to be so much fun. And obviously this part is the hard part. This part is the part that you kind of have to, it's I don't want to say it's busy work, but it reminds you of like busy work at work or in school. It's like, I know I have to do this to get to the fun part. It's necessary to do this. I need this. However, I want to just jump to the fun part. And so, yeah, it's a constant battle when I'm writing. I just want to get into final draft and start creating my scenes and having my characters go at it, or like just have fun dialogues together. And so that's what I'm struggling with right now, and just usually struggling with, but I'm going to stay the course. So let me know if this is helpful to you guys. This has been fun for me. And I feel like I need to ask myself some more questions. So I'm going to go back into my files and just make sure that I am asking myself all the right questions for my characters. Because I feel like I developed them pretty well in terms of likes, dislikes, what are their quirks. And yeah, I feel like I need to do some more quirks though, if I'm being all the way honest. But they definitely are two distinct voices, two distinct people, almost polar opposites, but they work, and I am excited to bring them together in this story. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process. Comment below if you have questions for me, questions that will help make this process easier to understand for you if you're just starting out. And also any tips for me, because like I always say, I'm nobody's expert. I just do the thing, and I can only work from the limited knowledge that I have. So let me know if it's anything that you see that I can do better at in this process as well. I hope you guys have the most amazing time writing your script, whether it's the pilot, the book, the feature, and I hope that it's a great process for you and you are successful at the end of whatever your 90 days look like, or your year. You know, you don't have to do it in 90 days. You can set whatever goal you would like, but this one just happens to be 90 days. So with that said, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. There are over 300 of us at this point, so I'm very, very excited. Tell your friends. It's a good time over here. Coming up, I am not only going to do this outline, but I am going to do some spring stuff coming up very, very soon, some DIYs. And I would love for you guys to join me in this process, because I just love making my space the most cozy, whimsical, fun space that just matches my personality. That's why I have a bright yellow wall in here. It's the only yellow wall in here. And this is my little corner. In my own little chair. And you guys are in my little corner of the internet. So once again, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I will talk to you guys in a brand new video very, very soon. Don't forget to go create your best life today, guys.